My name is Warren Maynard, and I'm the National Director of Impact Players and one of the four coaches for this new program
I'm gonna jump on
called
that call,
Impact
Kyle.
Hard. And want to just tell you guys a quick story before I introduce the rest of our coaches and we take some time to share our heart, our vision for this Impact Hard program. But go back about 17 years ago, I was working on staff at a local church in South Carolina, young dad, young husband, in my early 30s. And me and a group of guys from our church, we decided that we were going to do P90X together. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the P90X program, but we committed to doing the P90X program, every day, Monday through Friday, for that 90 days. And we put some money into the pot with a challenge on the other side of that to say whoever kind of lost the most weight, got in the best shape after the 90 days would get the pot of money. And in addition to that, I really felt like God was calling me to read the Bible from cover to cover in 90 days. So I called it B90X. So I was doing P90X and B90X at the same time. And I can tell you guys that for me personally, that 90-day challenge was so transformational for me, not just physically, not just spiritually, but in every area of my life. And during that time, I made decisions that shaped and directed the entire direction and future of my life that has me standing here before you guys today. And so I share all that because really for the last 15 years, I've been chasing that same kind of experience. And that's really a big part of my heart and my hope for Impact Players, for Impact Hard, is that this would be an experience that for you not only is going to help you get in better shape and be more disciplined with your exercise and nutrition, and we're going to talk about that, but really that it's a transformational experience in every area of your life. And so I'm really excited to take the next few minutes to let our three coaches share a little bit about what they're planning and preparing and praying for as it relates to this Impact Hard challenge. And then we'll have some time to answer your questions and hopefully get you really, really excited to be able to, be a part of this program. But not only that, to be advocates and evangelists to help us get this out to even more men across the country. So, really excited to begin that right now. And our first coach that we're going to have share is Gary Chupik. So, Gary, go ahead and step up to the mic and share a little bit about what you believe Impact Hard will do for the men in this program.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Gary Chupik, and I'm a mental performance coach in the field of sports psychology. My job is to unlock teams and athletes, professional teams and athletes, and help them be at their very best. And when Warren asked me to be part of Impact Hard, I absolutely jumped at the opportunity. I think behind our lack of self-confidence and self-doubt and discouragements is a far more fulfilling life than we could have ever imagined. And I guess in some ways that really sounds like an overstatement, but I don't think that it is. And here's why, is because in terms of sports psychology, we believe in something called mental imagery and visualization. And I think it's a very powerful tool that athletes use to imagine themselves performing these acts that allow them to perform in real life what they've already imagined. And it's really interesting when we think about that in terms of our own lives. Many of us don't necessarily or aren't very intentional about mental imagery. But think of it this way. If you can't see yourself with your mind's eye doing something, you probably wouldn't do it. You have to kind of see yourself doing it. And in terms of the Impact Hard program, we want to help you to see yourself doing things that you never thought were possible. So my job is to convince you to think, to not only think that it's possible, but over the course of 75 days, we want you to think that it's predictably probable that you will be closer to the person that God has created. It takes just a little bit of mental work, a little bit of encouragement, a solid plan, some encouragement from a community of men. You can actually get there. And that's why Warren and John and Wayne and myself, we're here to believe in you. We're here to believe in you that you're just a couple decisions away from being a dramatically different version of yourself. So if your thoughts are hurting you more than they're helping you, Impact Hard will teach you how to think for performance and how to be your best self. It will align your body, your mind, your soul, and your spirit. And us coaches will be there to help you, to push you a little bit for sure. But we want you to get some wins underneath your belt and elevate your life. So, what I want you to do is I want you to pray about being involved in Impact Hard. And some of you haven't signed up yet, some of you have signed up. But here's what we want you to do. We want you to choose your level of difficulty. In other words, you won't have to do what someone else is doing, but you can choose your own level of difficulty. And here is what's interesting to me is that even though I do a lot of these things every day, I'm going to challenge myself to even be better. And there are things that I want to do over the course of 75 days that will really challenge me and push myself. So we want you to make it challenging. We want you to make it a little bit difficult. Yes, it's going to take some discipline, but you'll be creating these healthy rhythms in your life that make you the person that you want to be. So we want you to be committed. We want you to stack wins. And here's finally what I want to say is you've heard it once said that we should trust the process. Well, I think that's really true, but I want you to know that the highest performers that I know don't trust the process. They attack the process. So when it comes to the goals that we have for you, in Impact Hard is we want to integrate every part of you. So body, mind, soul, and spirit. And when we can align all of those things in our life, you have the best shot at being the person that God has created you be and to be the best version of yourself. So in terms of your body, we want you to feel better about yourself. We want you to either lose a few pounds or get stronger or avoid a certain food like sugar. We do want your body to be impacted. We want to see what you're capable of. And I think you want to see what you're capable of in these 75 days as well. When it comes to your mind, we want you to upgrade the software. So your brain, your actual brain inside of your skull, that's the hardware, but we do want you to upgrade your mindset and the software. We want you to be able to think better about challenges and reframing difficult things in your life. So body, mind, soul is we want you to be at peace with God. We want you to be at peace with yourself. We want you to invest in yourself. And we want you to pay attention to your emotions. We want you to pay attention to the things that you desire. And then finally, we want you to be closer to God and be more encouraged in your faith over these 75 days. And so these 75 days are, you could say they're about habits, but I like to use the term rhythms. These are the rhythms in your life that will, if you do for 75 days, will just be the beginning. But if you can carry on these rhythms in your life beyond the 75 days, wow, that's a pretty powerful program. So we want to invite you to be a part of it. Our goals are that you will increase in body, mind, soul, and spirit, and we're here to help.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. John, why don't you take a little bit of time to share what Impact Heart is going to be like? That's probably the question that I've gotten the most is what is it going to be like? What is this whole program about?
Yes, well, it's so good to join you guys. I am pumped, just like Gary was talking about, being pumped about being a part of this with you. Even as a coach, I'm excited about 75 days of us pushing hard together. It's like, how can we continue to just become a little bit better? I was talking to one of my clients this morning, like, if you just changed focused on one little habit a week, that's 52 changes potentially in a year. And that stacks up to really being just in a sense of building momentum to a great amount of change. Sometimes when we think about everything we need to change, we can tend to not change anything because we're just focused on everything at once. But if we can just say, let's break this down, let's get very specific. And what we want to do in the next 75 days is really create that pathway. I think internally, all of us want to be the best version of ourselves. But how to get at that best version sometimes can be a mystery. And because life just happens and we can tend to be reactionary, year after year goes by and we still haven't really got at who we would want to become and setting out to do that. But before I jump into this program, let me just introduce myself too. My name is Jon Beazley. I am a strength and nutrition coach. I own Mind and Body, and this company actually emerged out of a context of a lot of pain. And as I get to know you, maybe I could share more of my story. But I remember, even as a believer, struggling with hard thoughts towards God. I don't know if you've ever been in a place where you've been praying and you're like, man, prayer is supposed to comfort me, but it actually is kind of annoying me right now. I'm really frustrated with life. I don't know why things are the way that they are. And there were some times where my greatest retreat was to go hit the gym and to really focus on my mind. It's like I need to address my mindset and I need to work myself out really hard. And I began to set up a what I call an ecology of practices that some of which were spiritual practices, some of which were physical practices, and it really helped me pull through the difficult season. And what we want to try to do is create this rhythm of life where it's sustainable, that can help you pull through the hard times. This program is kind of mimicking, are you guys familiar with 75 Day Hard? I know I'm asking a question that you can't answer on mute, but probably just shaking your heads. This is kind of mimicking some of the language, but one thing that the developer of 75 Day Hard communicates, he said that it's not really a sustainable program the way that they set it up. It's just meant to be mentally challenging that you do for 75 days, but it's not sustainable for the rest of your life. What we're trying to do here for 75 days, we're building it so that this could be something that you continue, maybe not at the same pace, but you should be able to continue these practices, the exercise, winning the day or winning the morning practices, things that you're going to learn from Gary, things you're going to learn from me when it comes to training, things you're going to learn from Wayne when it comes to just life practices, nutritional practices. So if I could just go through some of the big pillars here, this is going to be a plan that'll help you physically, spiritually, relationally. There's going to be a morning routine that you'll get up and do. This is like body weight exercises. One thing that's really helped me in my own life is learning to do the hard thing as soon as possible when I wake up. If I kind of procrastinate on hard things, I tend to not really face the day with any level of courage. So trying to get up and say, all right, I'm going to do the hard thing. You might do Bible reading and prayer and then do this routine, or do the routine, then do Bible reading and prayer. But routine is just to kind of get you going. It's about a 10 to 15-minute routine, push-ups, set-ups, crunches, and some squats. And you'll see more details of that program later. It's supposed to really help you there. But then there's going to be four scheduled full body training routines through the week. So you have four main workouts. You really can do them whenever. And we've given you suggested workouts. Now, if you have your own routine, all I really want you to focus on is hitting these six fundamental movements. If you hit the six fundamental movements, great. But each of the workouts are designed where you can do them. There's a gym version of it, there's a home version of it, and then there's a home version with like minimal equipment. So it should be able to hit most guys here. Like you're like, I have a gym membership or I can only work out at home. We got workouts that hit all those scenarios. And you're going to do a push movement, pull, squat, hinge, core, and gait training. So every workout's going to have something related to that. Every workout's going to be different through the week. And it's scientifically put together so that you become stronger and more efficient as a person. There's going to be daily devotionals to sharpen your faith. There's going to be marriage and parenting practices to deepen your relationship. And if you're here and you're single or divorced, let me just say these principles are going to be really applicable to just relationships in general. It's going to be awesome. If you think about what you learn in these contexts, they're going to be transferable to those other relationships. We're going to have mindset exercises. Of course, Gary is going to help us a lot with that, but some of the practices that I do with my clients, we're going to bring out in the training as well. This is really going to be a full born opportunity to interact with coaches. There's going to be this weekly check-in where we're gonna check in to see, hey, how's your sleep? How's your nutrition? How's your movement? How's your water? How's your morning routine? But it's gonna be more than just a hoorah session, like get out there, be tough, be hard men. We're gonna go deeper than that. Be like, hey, how are you when it comes to your own spiritual walk, your own spiritual formation? So Fridays is going to be a great time for us to grow and have great accountability. So that's kind of a snapshot of the program, and we're going to have a question and answer later. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know.
Awesome, John. Way to go. Thank you for sharing. All right, Wayne, just share a little bit about what is Impact Hard going to do in your life?
Yeah, hey fellows. I am from Bothell, Washington, but I'm currently in the mountains of Virginia because I have 8 kids. My wife, one of my daughters, is graduating from Liberty University's Homeschool Academy, and my wife was like, "Why don't we let her go walk in the graduation and also do a 33-day road trip to the East Coast with all the kids?" And I was like, that sounds insane, awesome. But so here I am, 2 weeks into it up in the mountains. And but going back to what this is going to do for me is personally, but I think everyone that plugs into this is I think all of us need this right now. I don't know about you, but I feel like it's busy in the world. There's lots of things, and honestly, as Gary was talking, I was like, if I could just hang out with Gary for 75 days, I would level up. If I could hang out with John for 75 days, I would Warren for 75 days. But like, think about the collective that you're going to be able to hang out with all these people, and including all of you guys that are taking part in this, because I know so many of you guys are just amazing. But again, I'm a husband. I have 8 kids. I run multiple businesses. My life is full. Every day there are people pulling on me for opportunities, problems to solve, decisions to make, right? And honestly, it's super easy to drift. And because I think one of the things I've learned over the years is that success does not remove the temptation for comfort. It's like always there. It's like success can actually make drifting easier. And that's the thing I am like looking forward to these 75 days because I'm very disciplined in my nutrition, very disciplined in my workouts. Like people see me and they're like, Wayne, you're in great shape. But trust me, there's a lot of other things that I'm just getting lazy. And the first step is calling it out. Like, okay, Wayne, that is not the standard. And I need other men to call it out. So again, um, just because you've built freedom and a lot of you guys maybe have success, when things are going well, when you don't necessarily have to push yourself anymore, it becomes really easy to lose that sharpness. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose discipline. I don't want to lose focus. I don't want to stop growing. And I am intentional with my time. And again, because there's a lot of demands on me. So like my commitment to all of you is like I'm going to be fully participating. I'm going to give my best. I hope all of you are going to give your best. And so, I just don't want to be around guys that are like, Wayne, you're awesome. Like, I want to be around guys. So hopefully all of us, like, we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard. I have a great friend of mine and he's a truth speaker. If he sees me, like, he's always like, Wayne, that is not the standard. And I'm like, man, you're like the only guy that will call me out. And I was like, you're a great friend. So I hope when we're going with this, there's hundreds of us in here that are great friends to be like, I know who you are. I know what you're capable of. And again, going back, we're going to do this. It's going to be amazing. This Impact Hard. So for me personally, this summer, it's about locking back in the key habits, the key disciplines, the key areas of growth, spiritually, physically, mentally, as a husband, father, leader. And so I hope you guys are ready to get after it because I need you to get after it with me because I need the push. So let's go.
Hey,
Love
Warren,
it.
can I add one thing there?
Yeah.
Uh, oh, you might even be touching on us in the preparation part, but we are going to give each of you a guide that will give you the workouts and the details that were just mentioned. So I just wanted to kind of point that out there. And just to ride on what Wayne said, Wayne, you made me think of, if you guys know me, I love philosophy. I do a lot of reading in philosophy literature and stuff. Do you guys know the man named Kierkegaard? Such an awesome last name. Like that's just sweet. You just feel smart by saying that name. But he said this, and I think it's so true. He says the most common form of despair is not being who you are or
Mm,
becoming the kind of person you know you should be.
mm,
And I think about that because oftentimes I think we all have that desire to be something beyond what we are now. And in a Christian context, we know God's created us to be something, you know, and there's this despair that can grow when we know we're not aligned with that. And man, I tell you guys, there's so many times where I'm saying something and I feel like I'm not actually quite doing what I say.
Mhm.
And I want to close that gap. And I'm excited about closing that gap with you guys.
That's well said, John. Let me just take a couple minutes to share some thoughts about what's next. How do I prepare to be a part of Impact Hard that's starting on June 15th? And what does success look like? And I just want to speak, these guys are all experts in their fields of nutrition and exercise and mindset. Um, all I am is a former pastor and youth pastor who's just trying to figure this thing out as we go along. But as I was really reflecting on, how do I prepare for this, and how can we as men prepare for this? I was reminded of this passage in Isaiah chapter 50, verse 7, and it says, "Because the sovereign Lord helps me, I will not be disgraced. Therefore, have I set my face like flint, and I know that I will not be put to shame." And the truth is that everything that Wayne talked about when it comes to drifting, going through the motions, that's me. That is 100% me when I am in the flesh, when I am not walking with God and when I am not fully abiding with Christ. And so for me, I'm very excited about this opportunity to be able to link shields with other men. And hopefully, together, we inspire one another to really be the men that God's called us to be, that our wives and children are needing us to be, that the churches and organizations that we lead need us to be. And I just want to use this verse to just encourage you as a way to prepare for this study. That as you go into this, ask the sovereign Lord to help you. And, there are a lot of programs like what we're talking about today that I would say fall into the self-help genre of, improvement. But that's not what Impact Hard is all about. Impact Hard is about putting yourself in a position to allow God to change you from the inside out. And Zechariah says, it's not by might nor by power, but it's by the Spirit that we're going to change. Secondly, I want to just invite you to come into this with a mindset of no disgrace and no shame. Okay. And so if you're coming into this and you're like, man, I'm a failure. I, suck at my health. I suck at working out. I'm addicted to pornography. My marriage is about to end. How could I possibly be a part of a group like this? Let me just tell you, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. This group is for you. This group is for men who are saying, I want to go further than I've gone before. I want to take steps of forward momentum that will change me and change my life and those around me. There is no condemnation in this group, and there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. So don't let disgrace or shame keep you from being a part of this group. And then the third one is set your face with determination. That's what that expression, I have set my face like flint, really means. It's saying, I've put my face in a direction, and come hell or high water, nothing is going to keep me from accomplishing this vision, the vision that God has given me. And Jesus, it says that he set his face towards Jerusalem, and he went and he endured the cross so that we could experience the joy and the freedom that is found in him. And so I just want to encourage you men, don't be half-hearted about this. Don't be like, well, I might give it a try. I might kind of put my toe in the water, see what it's all about. I want to just invite you that when you sign up, that you would make a decision in your own heart and in your own mind to say, this is something that I am going to do, and I'm going to go at it with all that I can and all that I have. So I just encourage you guys with that. Just a few wise and practical steps for preparation. If you haven't signed up, sign up. And then sign up other people. I want to encourage you, sign up your friends that you may know across the country, but maybe even more importantly, sign up your son or your dad or your brother or the guys from your small group or your cohort or your church, and tell those guys, hey, we're going to do this together, and we're going to find times throughout this 75 days to work out together and to break bread together and to encourage and sharpen one another in the faith, and let this be a transformational experience. And then go ahead and start arranging your schedule. Get yourself ready for this, which begins on June 15th. We'll do a Friday check-in at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. But as much as you're able, try to get this into your schedule so that you can position yourself to experience the greatest level of success